Hi everyone and welcome to another video from Danka Praktik. If you thought that living on a homestead is cheap, you would be wrong. In most cases, homesteading is not cheap at all and has lots of costs that are often hidden. People who are yet to embark on the homesteading lifestyle are especially unaware of this. This video will show you some pretty simple and easy ways to save money on a homestead and perhaps avoid some traps and mishaps we had in the beginning. All of what you'll hear comes from our personal experience and we hope it helps. So stay tuned.
Danka Praktik.
If you want a successful homestead, you'll have to plan. Sorry if this ruins any romantic notions about homestead living, but this is the simple truth. It's best to plan from the very beginning if possible. For instance, what are your goals for the homestead? Where will a future building be located? What's the purpose of that building? Where will the garden be? Where will the greenhouse be? What plants and crops are going to be raised? What kind of animals do you plan to keep, if any? And the list goes on. By knowing these things in advance, you'll save a ton of money as you will avoid things like failed or useless building projects, failed agricultural attempts, bad and untimely investments, and much more. Besides planning, try making a budget. It does not have to be precise, but at least make an overview of what awaits you during the year. As you'll see, most of the spending and costs on a homestead are similar or the same over the year, so if you keep track, for instance, for one whole year, you'll get a pretty good idea of how much money you'll need. Some important expenses would be paying for various services if you don't have your own machinery, for instance. Then you have the expenses for agricultural material like seeds, fertilizer, irrigation systems, and the list goes on. Fuel, animal feed, spare parts for machinery are also on the list. Again, try to keep track of expenses for one whole year. Then make a budget for the next year according to that, and try to stick to that budget as much as possible. You can save a ton of money annually by watching over your utility expenses. On a homestead, you'll be using electricity and water on a larger scale. Various tools, irrigation pumps, grinders, lights around the house and else use a lot of electricity over the month and year. Regarding water, you have irrigation for crops and plants, water for animals, water for the household and else. If you don't have your own source of water, this will cost you a good amount, especially during the summer. Perhaps the best way to save on utilities is to always think about when and how much you use them. For instance, use the air conditioning only when it's really hot outside. Turn off the water the moment you don't need it anymore. Turn off any appliances, chargers, and else when you're not using them, and the list goes on. By doing this over the year, you'll save a serious amount of money. Closely related to utilities is the expense for gas or petrol for your car. If you live on a homestead, you'll probably travel around to town, around the village, and all of this costs money. If the gas prices are higher in your country, this can be a serious damage to your budget. We, for instance, live 12 kilometers from town, and trust us, we can feel every cent of that traveling on our budget. Some trips you have to make, but we try to cope with this by planning and combining chores and needs as much as possible into one trip. Believe us, it does have a huge impact on savings. On a homestead, you'll probably be doing lots of shopping for agricultural and home supplies. But even on this, you can save money. Try finding out if the places you go to shop have any regular or seasonal sales, discounts, or some sort of loyalty program. Also, never disregard online shopping, as this has become a standard in most places worldwide. Buying in bulk, especially agricultural supplies, may bring in a serious discount. When buying fuel for machinery, see what the prices are on the local fuel pumps and try to get the fuel cheaper. If you're buying tens or hundreds of gallons, every cent counts. In any case, pay attention to this factor. Over time, once you get the hang of it, it can save some serious money. The next major way to save money is to grow your own food and save any surplus of food you may have. One of the main points of having a homestead is growing your own food. Have a garden or a greenhouse, or even better, have both. Planting fruit trees is also a great option. We've made specific videos about our greenhouse and about gardening. we'll leave the links in the corner of this video and in the description. Besides this, if you have food surpluses, preserve them with freezing, but also with pickling, smoking, cooking, and else. All of this is good food on the table and less money spent on groceries of this type. Besides consuming, you can always sell the surplus if you have the market. Cooking is certainly one of the most important ways to save money, and it is a skill worth gold. Cooking will not only enable you to eat healthy and nutritious meals, but will also reduce takeouts, ordering fast food, eating out of the house, and other things. Although these have a value of their own, and they are tasty, popular, and fun to go to, all of them cost money. The cost goes up even more if you have to drive a long way from the homestead to the restaurant. If you like to do this often, you will see your wallet growing ever thinner over the year. The next tip is to do as much DIY work as possible. Buy yourself some tools, teach yourself some skills, and start repairing and making things. But please don't get too enthusiastic and cheap. Know that for expert repairs and some serious building, you should call professionals, and this may be way cheaper in the long run. Simply do things like make smaller repairs, do some minor woodworking, some mending, and other things that are simple and for which calling a professional isn't worthy. As you'll see, just like with the other tips, you can save some serious money over time. On a homestead, except for real garbage, never throw things away immediately. Pieces of wood, pipes, PVC pipes, planks, pieces of wire, even old tires can be repurposed into something if you have some goodwill. Then, instead of throwing them away, you can gather wood chips for starting a fire in winter, gather old branches that are not rotten for firewood, and else. We know that this tip may easily lead to cluttering around the house and making heaps, but our recommendation is to try and organize the leftover material somehow before definitely throwing it away. Also know that a homestead is a recycling machine. For instance, you can feed certain kinds of food leftovers to animals, you can use grass clippings for fertilizer, you can gather rotten grass, food, branches, and else for compost, and much more. All of this is returned through quality food on the table. At the end of this list, we have one more tip that we hope you will embrace wholeheartedly. This tip is simple to say, yet it is hard to apply, and that is be content with what you have. If you're not, this may be the fast lane to losing money and going bankrupt. We mention this as even homesteading, with all its peace and quiet and being secluded, is not immune to vanity and shopping mania. The best remedy for this is sticking to your budget and rethinking every purchase. Don't get us wrong on this part. Don't be content to the point of damaging your life on the homestead. Always plan and aspire, but try to do so in a normal way and one that does not burden you. For the end of this video, we would like to mention a saying which goes, money saved is money earned. A dollar saved here or there will pile up over time even if you don't see it at first. Also, what's very important on a homestead, every dollar saved is a dollar less paid with your back. Know that making savings is a game of patience, vigilance, keeping track of expenses, thinking and rethinking, and other boring and annoying things. But at the end of the day, when you see a positive balance and some extra cash in the wallet, it will put a smile on your face. So that's it for this time. We hope the video helps. Please like and subscribe, it's a huge help for what we're doing. Thanks for watching and thanks for your time.